Okay, my natal chart. This is just a piece of it. I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of the some 35,000 named asteroids charted out. I have many different charts. I have my midpoints and fixed stars and lots of different things that I go back and forth on, and I'm still learning new ones all the time. This one here in bold is Atreyu, and that's Family Curse. Connects to my Genki by just 4 minutes. And so yeah, I'm never going to say I know everything. I'm still learning as I go. Uh, I just report what I see. So I actually didn't even start studying my own chart. At first, I was studying friends. I'm an 11th house sun. That's my friends in groups. I have Chiron, Eris, and Mercury. My childhood friends are very important to me. I have Indiana, and the county where everything really started ramping up are conjunct mental. They are opposite my Rosetta, which is like the Rosetta Stone, figuring things out. A foreign language. Astrology is a foreign language. And it's conjunct my Juno, and my mom's last name actually are opposite that. I've mentioned many times all the different amazing things, that synchronicities that have happened since she died, that I've learned to show in charts, and things that have been just put in front of me that I never would have expected to come across. Things that got my brain going, and my brain never stops. It's ridiculous. So, yeah, this is some of my natal chart. And probably with the Patsy thing, the most important is Patricia Ann here at 4 degrees 44 minutes, connecting to my psyche at 4 degrees 44 minutes. Transit Patricia Ann at 2650 was right here on my hylinome, grief over losing a mate, opposite my current last name. And the galactic center is right here. My current last name sits on the Sabian symbol of the master builder, and my husband is actually a master framer. So, right opposite my hylinome in Veritas, which is truth and justice. So anyway, that connects to my Lovejoy, which is also where it's Shamsharok, but Shamrock. I've found the two 5-leaf clovers, and finally the 4-leaf clover connects with that. And Uranus sitting right here on Lovejoy, connecting to Transit Child and Diaretsa, which is asteroid backwards, and to the address of the store where I got the urge to go to and found the Patsy tattoo. It's opposite my grief. I was grieving my mother and grieving my marriage, and had a pretty rough last couple of days. The sun, of course, at 27 degrees. Every month when it activates all these different things. I have some other things at 27, and it is what it is. So, the Aquarius eclipse here, solar eclipse at 28:49, connects to my Patricia Ann, my Neowise, and my Karma here. I have quite a few things, actually. Oh, I misspelled her name. Sorry, Mom. Anyway, I have a lot of things that connect at 28:49. Two of the most important people that I first did their charts. One sits here and one sits here, and both of them born on 6/16, which is when the sun is on my sun-moon midpoint. So they're an important part of my journey. And okay, so anyway, kind of rambling here. So Hades, that wonderful Uranian object, is connecting by square to my Genki, and connecting to my Hecate and my uh, Eagle, which is another one of those that's connected to the Eagle, connected to psychic sensitivity. And Mercury right there on them. Hecate is the goddess that roams the three worlds. And those connect to the Great Attractor. I have a Moor here and Sisyphus doing the same thing over and over again, and some other things that sit right here. Connects to my part of fortune here in Scorpio, 1536, right next to my child, and actually my mother's, one of my mother's other childhood names. And I have Dejanira victim, sits right here with my Uranus. And you can see I have spirit with Uranus also. But those are opposite. My Uranus is important because it's opposite Aurelia, which is the oracle type thing near my Ginky. There's a particular asteroid I don't talk about that started my obsession with astrology, and it is one of those childhood traumatic things, very common in my family and in a lot of my friends, actually. And it was when an astrologer that did asteroids did my chart and asked me about it, and I'd never told anybody, that I became obsessed with what you could see in the charts. So anyway, so that sits there opposite my Uranus. Uranus is the awakener, shakes you to awaken you. And I also have Pretoria exactly opposite my Uranus, and Pretoria has to do involvement with the drug world. Now, my dad was high on acid when I was conceived, and was known for his drug use and alcoholism. I have always had people that did various drugs around me. I experimented when I was younger, and um, didn't really find that it appealed to me. But it keeps cropping up in my life and in my children and mates, and it's created a lot of problems. But we all have our journeys, and so for me, I take the intellectual approach, and I try to figure out how to fix things. I'm a Virgo moon. I want to fix things in my family. Fourth house Virgo moon. So anyway, um, yeah, pause. Connected to that Uranus also by square, I have it highlighted here in blue, is a word that is one of my favorite things to do. Uh, has to do with baking, and it is the last name of my oldest adopted daughter, and it is the road that my acupuncture Reiki healer started waking me up and connected with my mother, actually, and her name sits here with my North Node path. And so that was on a street of the same name that I got married on. She lived right across the street from my in-laws, and I got married at that house. And there's been a lot of Uranus activity with that particular asteroid there. So, my love lock is also at 16.5 degrees. In my mother's natal chart, which I'm not showing, is all three of my names that I use, the Ginky, the Gagnero, and the Gianna, are all at 16.5 degrees in her chart. So let's see what else. Connecting to it also are Aureola, which I have my dog, Oreo, that showed up, and he's been very prominent in helping me find all these different synchronicities, leading me right to them, and even the getting of him and making a video about him. It's conjunct my Gagnero and Quirk right here nearby. And there's a video I have in the works. I have it just about all ready to make about my dad had decided there was going to be something very wrong with me because he was high on acid when I was conceived, and he tried to make my mother miscarriage by kicking her. Um, and that shows very well in the charts, actually. But so transit Gagnerow opposite that and connecting to all of those. Now, yesterday morning, I woke up with DNA on my mind. 3 times I heard it as I was waking up, and I worked on the charts yesterday with addict charts. Now, Mars and Vesta right here on my addict, and my meth. Um, Meth is a big problem in my family, and my dad was known to have done it. So I study charts. I have lots of friends, beautiful people, and of course my family are beautiful people that struggle with meth addiction and other addictions, alcoholism, and so it's just something that stays in my mind to look at in the charts in different ways. So those connect to a particular asteroid that represents black and white thinking, and Nessus. Nessus is a troublemaker that is on the higher end, healing karmic generational trauma. And they're very important to me. And that's actually the name of a county, this particular asteroid that I grew up in, that my dad lived in. So those also connect to my Uranus and Spirit. Elpis is hope. Elpis was the last to leave when Pandora opened up her box of evils. And let's see. So Vesta and Mars are conjunct there on my addict. And of course, I ran to the gas station to get some cigarettes when I got the urge to jump and go, and ran into the woman with the Patsy tattoo. And so Delphi right here nearby, the Oracle, Aura and Juno. Mom's last name with Pluto here. That's why I had that heart. What's that there for? Anyway, so Aura and Juno, and connecting that and that and that. Alright, so anyway, mental, of course, at 1545, almost 16 degrees. So yeah, a lot activated just for there. Pat Miller is connecting to my Vesta, which is very close to my sun here. And that's square to my Jupiter. My dad sits here at my Jupiter, my dad's name does. And the address of the gas station right here at it. And square to my Vesta, trying to Pat Miller. And let's see what else we got. It's connecting to Meta at 8:39 here in transit. And it's almost on my descendant axis, opposite my ascendant. Now, my ascendant is on Aldebaran. And the Sabian symbol, or was it the, what's the other? Not Sabian. Let me think. Ooh, that took a minute. I'm tired. It's my 3rd video in a row. Chandra symbol. And John Sandbach does the Chandra and Omega and something else. Anyway, so that's having magic glasses to see patterns. And when I discovered that, it made me feel so much better about myself because I already feel weird. I have Serendip right here and Calliope, the muse of storytelling, hugging my ascendant here, opposite. Ergo, the new relevance for old phenomena. And that's exactly opposite Beer, Babylon, astrology, star, and Delphi, the oracle. I've had some very, very strange things come across my way. Ergo sits right here with my Neptune that rules my 12th house Venus. My YouTube channel number, actually 6764, sits at 22 degrees with my Venus. Young here with it, and yeah, so it's a very busy place that my Neptune rules all of that, and my Mars and my Saturn. Mars rules all of my Aries things here. And My chart's ruled by Mercury, and Mercury was on my Hecate and Eggle and connecting to all of the 14, 15, 13, Mercury, Eris, all of those. In the family curse, which is why I sat down and was charting yesterday, besides hearing the DNA, I've been working on those off and on for a while. So, anyway, yeah. Yay. Craziness. The nodes are squaring my ascendant and descendant. Lovelock as well. This total lunar eclipse 1251 is right here at my moon. And that's in conjunct to all of this here in my Chiron and Eris. I also have Christ Comet here, and it's a big old cluster. So Babylon was just traveling past that, the astrology. Connecting here to Quaoar and Phallus. Ginky here. Opposite Psyche. And I'll say I took that long walk with Oreo and found that heart rock because, you know, all this 12th house energy, that can get really depressing. That's a house of hidden enemies and self-sabotage and addictions and mental illnesses and connection to things behind the veil and, you know, hospitals and nursing homes and jails. And so, you know, very busy house here, and I have quite a bit here. My Mars, Miller, and Gas, I had explained before, I think it was just on my Facebook, maybe in a video. I swear it was originally gas, G-A-S-S, and it was 0 degrees here or something. My Miller family is just always worried about gas, my dad. And of course, passing gas is a fun thing that I've laughed about. But too many Virgo moons in the family. So now I think it's Gaze, G-A-Z-E. But anyway, it's still in the same spot, and that's connecting to the Saturn and Neptune in my Diaretsa, Kali, Apophis, all of this right here. My Atlantis, like I had said, is 29 degrees, which is my dad's Pisces sun. Diaretsa right here near it in Aries, and it's through the asteroids that I started learning about myself. Those are opposite my Pluto obsession and ruling my 8th house. You know, the magic and the change, Jupiter, Dad, and it's in Libra, which is relationships, and I study a lot of relationship charts and make connections and find things that are really quite fascinating. So those are connecting to Memoria. I had a lot of memories on my mind. Nada is another one that is connected, like Chaos and Quaoar, to, well, Nada is like all there is, the symphony of the universe, something along those lines. Flora. Usually on my mom's birthday or death day, I get my hibiscuses bloom, or I think it was my son's lemon tree last year that I had gotten him for Valentine's Day a couple of years ago. And flora usually is active on mom's death day or birthday, and this time the hibiscus had blooms, but they were ruined by the nice little Neptune here ice storm. And so Miller and Angel are here, opposite my Mars and Miller and Gas. And of course, it was a gas station I went to. Sedna here, something beautiful coming from the betrayal of the father. Star here at 29, Spirit at 1 minute of 0 degrees. Those are all connecting to my Pluto and Diaretsa. And Pax is within range of that, along that met up, if you watch the other videos already, that met up to Young and Serendip, which is synchronicities. Angel was one of them, and my pacts, soul contracts and agreements. Sphinx, mysteries, one of my favorites. Conjunct another version of my mom's last name, her maiden name, that I have at 3 degrees that connects to my nodes and her childhood nickname. I actually have one of my husband's names with my maiden name as the last name. Sits on my north node. Also, we have very strong chart things where even the location that we met and everything, I've charted it all out. It's all part of the north node, and I learned how to do a lot of this because of him, so he's very important to me. Let's see, I was looking at some of the 2s. Of course, my Saturn is a 2, and I have Epiphany here, and some other things I won't talk about right now. We have Ergo, that new relevance for old phenomena transiting on my Saturn. Phaethon, there, 121, connecting to my Saturn-Venus midpoint and opposite pax. My Iris and Mad Hatter going up a couple of degrees, but let's see. Oh, Tattoo at 151 is connecting over there into Pax. Don't want to jump to the 3s and 4s just yet because they're pretty fascinating on their own. Just trying to hit some of the 2s and 1s. A lot of the 2s are names in my chart of people that were either very important, like I love Tarot by Cecilia. I listen to her for a lot of guidance. She reminds me of my mom. She used to read my cards for me all the time. And so, you know, Cecilia and Tarot sit right here for me. And there's other names that have actually connected to Sedna, betrayal. That's not the greatest for me, but it's all part of our path. So anyway, let's slow down here. Saturn and Neptune are right here. And of course, they're opposite my Pluto. Connecting to my Mars and Miller. My Aura and Pat Miller are conjunct here also. And now we can probably jump to the next ones. So Transit Tattoo. Mad Hatter. I love the Alice in Wonderland. I always have. And this one right here actually has some of my adopted children's name of importance. My adopted girls right here. And it's conjunct Iris, which is related to the third eye, rainbows, and flowers, of course. But Pluto and my mom's last name, her maiden name here, and that'd be the one that's conjunct my Juno and Rosetta, are connecting to my Mad Hatter, which is opposite my Talent and her last name. Chaos is traveling over that, retrograde right now. And I'm trying to think what else I have. 3s, Phallus, the Centaur, where the cork is popped. So those all connect to my Talent. Quaor, that cosmic creativity. My Muse is at 4 degrees. Sometimes Muse is cats too, just so you know. But Lilith, she's connected to astrology. And my vertex here is at 4 degrees, 32 minutes, 432 countdown. I know what's in other parts of my chart, and I'm just trying to jump around and not get too in-depth on things. But Serendip, just crossing over those opposite Sedna, connecting to my Saturn and Epiphany, connecting to my Patsy North Node here. So, lots of neat connections. My current last name is at 316, another number that pops up for me a lot. But, yeah, so lots of connections there. The supergalactic center sits about, I don't know exactly where it is right now, but it's around 1.5, 2 degrees, and that's a black hole, like the galactic center and the great attractor here. So those are pretty powerfully placed, and a lot of the transiting planets are. So let's see what else we can jump on. I think I said my loving is on my Vesta, connecting to Pat Miller. I think we've already done all those. I have some really heavy astrology at 13, 14 degrees right here in the first house. I have the Astro Wizard, one of those right here, connecting to Pat Miller and Vesta. I forget which ones, but very powerful asteroids for astrology. I don't know that I could have gotten through life without it. I mean, I started out with Linda Goodman. It sits in my first house here. When I was younger, digging through my mom's books. So anyway, Meta here is Facebook, and it's the metaphysical. It's opposite my moon. I also have Zeus right here next to my moon. And, you know, Zeus is the playboy counterpart of Jupiter. So you have Jupiter and Juno and Zeus and Hera. But very, very powerful placement there. So, you know, the energies in here are what you're born with, and they'll play out in different ways all throughout your life. And the transiting planets going around activate different things, especially in your progress chart when you layer them over it, and your solar return, your year to year. You have a lunar return, which is your month to month. So everything is just carefully calculated and going around. And I always just find it fascinating to see how everything connects. You know, beer is the asteroid of addiction, and the Main Street, of course, I ran to get cigarettes. Connecting to my beer here, and my Kali, and some other different things that I have around at 6 degrees. So I'm getting tired. My truth sits at 856, which is in conjunct my Vesta. And the thing about the in conjunct, that another one of those things that made me feel better, when I had read that somebody said that, you know, that was the, had to think about it for a minute, the idiot savant aspect. Generally, an inconjunct or a quincunx is, you know, the energies aren't blending well together. It's a challenge. But when I read that someone had also listed it as the idiot savant aspect, it made sense, because I just kind of tripped into this. And I feel a lot of times like Mickey Mouse being the magician's apprentice, and I don't know what I'm doing. So I try to explain what I see and learn as I go. But yeah, so here I are. What is the neatest thing to look at next? Well, let's see. So Patsy and Chiron here at 2259 and 2329, those are going to connect to my Young and my Venus and my YouTube channel number, opposite Gianna here. And it connects to my main. Now, how would I have that one with a little bit of purple? It's a different, I don't know. So it connects to my Discovery here and my Sun Moon midpoint. Angel here in the first house. Now, Angel is another one of those that in my different readings and researches, I have seen and heard mention that angel is a corruption of angle, which makes more sense from an astrology point of view because everything is on angles and aspects to how we're connected to what people would call God, to the universe, cosmic muffin, whatever you want to refer to it as. I'm not religious, and that's held against me too often, but I've just experienced too much and studied too much. So, anyway, I do have divine in Apophis here, conjunct to my first house. Speaking of divine, so divine is conjunct Eris, like within just a few minutes. And Eris is discord and strife for positive changes. And Elpis here in transit is connecting to my sun moon midpoint discovery, Freud, Maine, Gianna. Yep. So, Atlantis here. It's really bothering me that I used the 2 different shades of purple because I have trouble enough as it is. So my loving here in the 12th house connects to my Vesta as well. It's kind of hidden in there, so I missed it. I have Union right next to Meth and Addict. One of my husband's names is actually right here. It's his grown-up name. And 9th house is the house of the spiritual journey, the law, sports. And so those all connect. New wisdom here, karma. What else was with those? Quirk. Quirk was right here. Yeah, there it is. And right here, just right at my midheaven. That's my most public spot, my reputation. Opposite my IC, which is your roots and your emotional foundation. It starts your 4th house, home and family. It's divine in Apophis, connects to Hades here and my town. Look at that, they're both 19 degrees, 47 minutes. Like I said, I moved here last summer. It's been different. And that's opposite karma and Neo-wise. So, let's see what else. My house here at 28 degrees. That's my house address. And it connects to DNA and actually my brother's first and last name that lives with me here. The sun is here, right on him, and not going to go into that right now. So, Pavlov is also involved with the eclipse. It's at 2751. Aquarius here. Pavlov is where we are conditioned, just like Pavlov's dogs. And a lot of times we don't even realize it, that we've been conditioned from all the people that, when we were really little kids. And all the things, all the people around us and all the media that we take in and all that. And we start thinking that things are a certain way, and that goes back to that black and white thinking that I didn't chart the transit for it. But, we think that everything has to be just this way or that way, and people have to be this way and that way. And nobody's perfect. Nobody's ever been perfect. So we all have good and we all have bad and we all do great things and we all do some really stupid things. It's just the way it is. But so transit DNA is connecting to that. And, what is your family history? What's everything lined up to become who you think you are today? Is that really who you are? I think that's a lot of where Aquarius comes in, and you start getting some inspiration to look other ways at the way you've been thinking. So let's see. Oh yeah, that one was fun. So Oriola was also opposite my Magion, which is magic, and my Merlin sits back in here in the 12th house too. Always love finding those little things. Um, so I ramble, and you see how I can make all kind of connections, and I can sit down and I can pull up the information and say, okay, well, this is a sextile connecting to a trines connecting to a square, and there is a 3, 4, 5 Pythagorean aspect that shows up a whole lot in the family charts, um, with some really strong things. So that's always fun to find too. Oh yeah, my truth is opposite my loving too. I saw that. I got Flora on the ascendant here with Serendip, and that's the synchronicities. My grandmother's, my dad's mom's name actually sits right here at 10 degrees also. And my grandfather, his dad, sits at 9 degrees here. Um, and he was the very first person I smelled after he died. I smelled his pipe. And so that was during my Uranus opposition when I was 17 and a half. Most of my grandparents died during that time, and a lot of weird things happened. So anyway, I ramble on, and I just wanted to show some things about finding this Patsy tattoo on my eve of my mother's birthday. This Uranus eclipse that we have, and just want to show some chart stuff. So let's pull that tattoo up one more time. I really wish I had asked a woman for her name instead of just for a hug. She told me that her mother's name was Patricia also, and that showed up in the chart with Patricia. Oh, what did I do? It's just Patricia. I put Anne. It's just Patricia at 2650 Gemini on my Hylanome. That's what I get for rushing. So Patricia Ann is the 444 connecting to my psyche. So this is just Patricia at my Hylanome. And yes, the woman and I were both talked about our moms having the name Patricia and being called Patsy. And we did wind up hugging. So I do wish I had asked her name. And then, of course, those connect to DNA in my chart here. So, anyway, yeah, very interesting to see it all. And I could have added a whole lot more, but that's more than enough. And I thank you for watching. Happy Aquarius new moon.